Hello and good evening, students, and welcome to Baiju's Exam Prep IAS. Now, before we start our daily quiz for 15th June, here is a quick announcement that we are having our National Scholarship Test for UPSC Civil Services Exam 2024, where you'll get a chance to get up to 90% scholarship on our various programs for CSE preparation. It will be held on 18th June starting from 11 a.m. The registrations will close at 6 a.m. on 18 June itself. So do not forget to click the link available in the video description to register yourself for the BYJU'S National Scholarship Test. So here is our first question. Which of the following statements are correct? Fly ash and plastic waste have already been in use in India for the construction of national highways. Use of such materials help reduce the cost of construction of roads. We have taken this question because recently our Minister for Roads, Transport and Highways, Mr. Nitin Gadkari, he announced on Twitter that how 40.2 kilometer stretch of National Highway 334B was constructed using materials like plastic waste and fly ash. He was praised by our Prime Minister for the same. Now, the ministry is trying very hard in order to reduce the carbon intensity of our economy, as we have stated in our Paris Convention goals. So, for that, they have been diversifying the use of more and more sustainable materials for construction of roads. So materials like shredded waste plastic, rubber, iron slag, fly ash and construction and demolition waste, it is being put to use more and more in order to reduce both the economic cost as well as the environmental cost of the roads. So this makes the roads both cost effective as well as environmentally friendly. So if we go back to our question, both the statements are correct and our correct answer is option C. The next question is, how many of the following pairs of cyclones, hurricanes, typhoons and the water body where they originated are correctly matched? Fani in Bay of Bengal, Vayu in Arabian Sea, Harvey in Atlantic Ocean, Phylon in Arabian Sea. We have taken this question because the cyclone Biparjoy, it is going to make its landfall on the Gujarat coast today, that is on 15th June. If we go back to our question, what about Cyclone Fani? Cyclone Fani was a major cyclone of the year 2019, and yes, it originated in the Bay of Bengal and it was a category 5, that means extremely severe cyclone. It became the strongest tropical cyclone to make landfall in the state of Odisha after the 1999 Odisha cyclone and the Phylon. So that means that Phylon also came from the Bay of Bengal and not from Arabian Sea. So this is correct, this is incorrect. Cyclone Vayu also took place in 2019 and it was a very severe cyclone that impacted the state of Gujarat. So that means it came from the Arabian Sea side. Now Cyclone Harvey, it was in 2017 and it was one of the worst cyclones to hit the state of Texas in USA. So it did come from the Atlantic Ocean, then passing the Gulf of Mexico, it entered the state of Texas. So these three are correct, whereas this is incorrect. Cyclone Phylon, it took place in the year 2013 and it was from Bay of Bengal. So your correct answer over here is option C. The next is a very direct question. The Migration and Development Brief is released by which of these agencies? World Bank, United Nations Development Programme, International Labour Organization, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. We have taken this question because according to the latest Migration and Developmental Brief, it has shown that India's remittance inflows, it has declined, and the biggest reason for that is the slowdown in the OECD economies. So this brief, it is released every year by the World Bank. So over here, our correct answer is A. Now these type of questions, they are very frequently asked in UPSC, and that is why it is important for you to take a look at what all reports and briefs are released by which agencies throughout the year. The next question is, how many of the following statements are true? An economy is set to enter a recession if the GDP, gross domestic product, contracts for an year or more. Depression in an economy is when the economy experiences a quarter of a negative growth rate. Now, this growth rate is what? Growth rate of the GDP itself. All the 20 Eurozone countries, they have entered a recession recently. We have taken this question because an editorial in the Hindu, it has tried to analyze why there has been a Eurozone recession. That is recession in all the 20 countries of the Eurozone. In fact, today there came a news that even New Zealand has now entered recession. The biggest reason for this has been stated as the Ukraine-Russia war. Now, what is a recession? What is a depression? Now, please note that recession and depression are quite closely related terms. We can view depression as a recession that is extreme in its effects and its durations. The generally accepted definition of recession and depression goes like this. Recession is a decrease in GDP that lasts for at least 2 quarters. It is basically a slowdown in the economic activity. A depression, on the other hand, is a severe drop in GDP that lasts for an year or more. So, bigger duration recession becomes a depression. So, if we go back to the question, this definitely is a correct statement. However, both of these are incorrect. Recession is for 2 or more quarters and depression is for more than an year. So, the correct answer over here is option A. Next, we have a PYQ from the year 2020. Consider the following statements. The President of India can summon a session of the Parliament at such a place as he/she thinks it. The Constitution of India provides for 3 sessions of the Parliament in an year, but it is not mandatory to conduct all 3 sessions. There is no minimum number of days that the Parliament is required to meet in an year. Now, please note that second statement, it is definitely incorrect. The Constitution is not providing for any designated number of sessions of the Parliament. It just states that between any 2 sessions, there should not be a gap of more than 6 months. So, this one is definitely incorrect. Now that it is incorrect, this leaves us with option A and option C. That means that statement 1 is definitely correct. So yes, Article 85(1) of the Constitution, it does state that President shall from time to time summon each House of Parliament to meet at such time and place as he thinks fit, but 6 months shall not intervene between its last sitting in one session and the date appointed for its first sitting in the next session. Now what about statement 3? Now please note that there is no provision of the minimum number of days that the Parliament is required to meet in an year. So yes, this is also correct and our correct answer is option C. Now we come to the fact of the day, which is about the sovereign gold bonds. Now the Government of India, it has in consultation with the RBI released the details regarding the SGB sales for this particular year. So the sales, it will take place in 2 tranches, one in June and other in September. Now please note that SGBs, they can be sold only through scheduled commercial banks except the small finance banks, payment banks and regional rural banks. It can also be sold through Stock Holding Corporation of India Limited, Clearing Corporation of India Limited, designated post offices, recognized stock exchanges, that is the National Stock Exchange of India Limited and the Bombay Stock Exchange Limited. So these SGBs, they are released by the Government of India every year since 2015. Now these are issued by the Reserve Bank of India on the behalf of Government of India. They can be sold to any resident individual, Hindu United Families, trusts, universities and charitable institutions. They are denominated in multiple grams of gold with a basic unit of 1 gram. So it cannot be bought in any fractions of 1 grams. They are sold for a tenure of 8 years with an option of premature redemption after 5th year. Minimum permissible investment in the SGB is 1 gram. The maximum limit is 4 kg for individuals, 4 kg for Hindu United Families and 20 kgs for trusts and similar entities every fiscal year. Now this maximum limit, it can be notified by the government from year to year. Now please note that the SGBs, they are issued as Government of India stock under the Government Securities Act of 2006, and the government is liable to provide a fixed rate of 2.5% per annum, which is paid semi-annually on the nominal value. It can be used as a collateral for loans, and it can also be eligible for the trading at the various stock exchanges of the country. So that is all about today's daily quiz. I hope you were able to understand all the concepts. So do not forget to like the video, share it and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more such updates. Also do tell us in the comments how many questions were you able to answer correctly. So thank you very much and have a very good day ahead.